Hi, I'm Kai Cheng Thom, and you're watching Ask Kai Quickies, a series of short videos in which I teach you everything you need to know about sex, dating, and relationships. Do I really know that much about sex, dating, and relationships? Gosh, I sure hope so. So, today's question is, I'm new to this. How do I gain the confidence to use a strap-on? Welcome to the wild and wide and wonderful and often wet world of queer sex. It's great in here. It's always so great to have a new person in the community, so I hope you have a fantastic time. So let's jump right to the question, how do I build the confidence to use a strap-on? Now, I really, really appreciate this question because it's an emotions focus. So many questions that sex educators get are like technical or skills-based, but really what a lot of people are trying to get at is, it's scary. It's scary, and I don't know what to do. There are a lot of ways to figure out what to do technically. The best way, usually, is to ask a partner who has more experience than you, but also watching porn, as long as it is actually educational porn and not wildly fantasy-based porn. That can sometimes also be a way to at least get the basics. And asking your local sex educator can also be a really great way. The emotional piece, though, has a lot to do with how you see yourself in relationship to other people. And when we are new, we often see ourselves as inadequate, shy, embarrassing, particularly when it comes to the body and to sexuality. So it's important to start, I think, with a base level of self-affirmation. It's okay to be new at something. It's okay to not know what to do. Sex is always kind of embarrassing and awkward anyway, and that doesn't necessarily make it any less fun, exciting, revelatory, or what have you. So if we give ourselves permission just to enter the realm of sexuality with an open mind, some might say a beginner's mind, ready to get messy and make mistakes, as our favorite magic school bus teacher might say, then we're more likely to have a good time and also to get our questions answered because we're willing to ask them in the first place. With that said, I always do like to say that it's important when we're experimenting sexually and learning something new that we are experimenting with our partners and not experimenting on our partners. And the difference there is really about communication and objectification. Communication being letting someone know that you're trying something new and you're not sure how it'll work out, and if they're asking them if they're down to help you out with that. And the objectification piece is really about seeing someone as a person and not as a vehicle for your own self-discovery. And so sometimes things that happen that are a bit weird when people are trying things for the first time with a new queer partner is that the newbie will get a little bit overwhelmed and then kind of check out of the experience and kind of forget to attend to their partner's needs. And sometimes also a newbie might get overwhelmed after an experience and then abruptly vanish, which might be fine in some kinds of hookup situations, but often we want at least a little bit of contact afterward, checking in, really caring about and caring for the people that we are with. So when it comes to trying things out and experimenting, it often is easier to try something like using a strap-on for the first time if you can also have a second and a third time with the same partner, someone that you are dating or seeing on an ongoing basis, that you can ask for help and also ask, what works best for them and how they best can receive pleasure. Because when it comes to the physical act of using a strap-on, when it comes to the physical act of most sex actions, it really is a matter of repetition, like any other physical skill. Repetition, adjusting, seeing how things go, dropping some things from your repertoire if they're not working, adding new things, and really figuring out what works for your individual body. So what works for one person might not work for every other person on the planet, and that's just fine and important to know. It is a bit more tricky if you are, for example, single and mostly having sex in the form of hookups. And so if that's the case, This is where we might really want to get into the skill of doing hookups and getting hookups. And there really is a lot of skill involved, whether you're getting hookups on apps or you're meeting people in bars or book clubs or wherever it is you meet people. Yes, you can meet people in book clubs. I've met a lot of people in book clubs. They were all gay book clubs. And so this is really about asking for what you want in the right way, in the right time. People are often pretty shy when they're meeting hookups for the first time. Sometimes it's hard to ask for what we want. Sometimes we think what we should ask for what we think the other person wants so that they'll get into bed with us, which is a practice I really don't recommend for a lot of reasons, consent chief among them. Consent for everyone, really, in that situation. Being clear, like, what do we want to ask for? What we want. Like, I'd like to try a strap-on, but I'm kind of new at it. Right? Is that okay with you? Does that sound fun for you? We want to say that, when do we want to say it? Pretty close to the beginning, like, near the top, before the person has gotten out of bed at 2 a.m. and driven to our house, for example. We want to ask that. And how do we want to ask it? With an air of general openness and curiosity, not overly anxious, like, I really need to have sex with someone with a strap on. That's not likely to be successful for you. It's not likely to be pleasant for them. And really openness to rejection. Like, it's totally okay if you're not into this, but I would like to try sex with a strap-on. Are you into that? And a good way to project an air of openness to rejection is often to give the other person some other options. Like, I would really like to try this, but it's cool. We don't have to. I would also have a lot of fun if we did these other things. And then you say something that is true, that you would have a lot of other fun things doing. And this gives the other person a sense of like, oh, okay, like they really are okay with it and I could choose another option. They should also just feel comfortable saying, no, I don't want to have sex with you at all, of course. But often people do want to get close to us and have sex with us. They just want to have a bunch of options available to them that they would like. And so giving people kind of a menu is a good way to introduce what you want while also giving folks like a sense that you're open to there being other choices while staying in a dynamic of hot, sexy, fun times. And then just to wrap up, I would say again, like, our first time doing anything is likely to be kind of messy and kind of awkward. And if you can laugh about it as it's happening, it tends to make things a lot better. I'm a big fan of talking during sex, of laughing during sex, of letting people know what's going on for you during sex and encouraging them to let you know what's going on for them. The more communication, the better, I think, and particularly when we're trying something new that might be a little uncomfortable the first time. Okay, weirdos. Okay, queerdos. This has been Ask Kai. Quickies. Start slow, use lots of lube, and follow Xtra on all the social media at Xtra Magazine.